This edition of MacVoices is sponsored by Take Control Books, the answers you need now from leading experts. If you want to get the most out of my password manager of choice and use it to your fullest advantage, Joe Kissel has the definitive guide in Take Control of 1Password. Get it now at takecontrolbooks.com. I'm Chuck Joyner. MacVoices is at Macworld iWorld 2014 in San Francisco. I'm in the Coppertino booth talking to Peter about VOX, an HD music player. Peter, it's great to see you.
Great to see you, Chuck.
So tell me about VOX. Now, you and I have done this once before because we got to talk a little bit last night. So tell the folks about VOX and what it is.
Well, VOX is actually a versatile music player, same as Winamp was for Windows. It's capable of playback almost any file, any format, your iTunes library that you already have on your Mac, but also you can drag and drop almost any file, like FLAC files, etc., and playback it with the highest quality of sound possible.
Now, let's just start with my iTunes library. Is it going to make my current iTunes library sound better?
Actually, yes. The reason is we've designed and developed our own audio core processor alternative to which uses iTunes. So the idea is that even regular MP3 files will sound better if you are listening to these files with VOX.
Do I have any relocation of files or anything like that, or can I just throw my iTunes library at VOX and it will recognize everything and start to play it?
Well, the magic is you don't need to throw anything, because while you download VOX from the Mac App Store, install it, and all your iTunes library will be automatically available in the VOX without any buttons need to be pressed.
But it does not rearrange or move my library. I can still use iTunes if I want.
Yes, absolutely. It's like a seamless integration. No files are moved or no libraries are changed.
Now that's great. But what I think is really exciting is that you support some of the HD formats like FLAC, that there's a noticeable difference.
Absolutely, and this is the main idea behind VOX. We try to educate audience that listening to HD files and lossless files really matters, because we do believe that market will shift to HD content in the next 10 years, because listening to HD enables a level of music experience completely unheard of before, because you hear some details that composers were thinking about while writing the music compositions, and end users will be enabled to hear this.
And I've played with FLAC files, and there's a very definite difference. I think there's a lot of confusion, though, for the general public about how they go about getting a FLAC file. Do they rip it from a CD, or are they purchasing it from you, and how does that work?
We are not a store, actually, of FLAC files. What we can recommend, there are several projects that distribute legally FLAC files and HD files. One of them is hdtracks.com. It's a company by... Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot the name. Another one is a French company. I also forgot the name of the company. Sorry, we just met with the CEO a couple of weeks ago, and I forgot the name of the company. Well,
we'll put something in the show notes to point to your website, and you can find it there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's on our website. And HD content is not so widely spread today, but we do believe that with our efforts and with more attention to the issue that HD matters, publishers will publish more tracks in HD, albums in HD, because users will demand it.
At the current time, does VOX support things like playlists and that kind of thing that I'm so familiar with in iTunes?
Absolutely, it goes without saying.
Do you import my playlists from iTunes?
Yes.
I sort of thought you might. So this sounds really good. So what does VOX cost me, and how do I go about getting it?
The magic thing that VOX is absolutely free application. You can go to Mac App Store and download it and use it. And no strings attached, no hidden fees. The only thing is that we have a collection of 3,000 free-to-listen radio stations, and you can access this feature for $2.99.
So those are HD stations?
Oh, it's not HD stations, it's regular stations. Okay. But what we have special for this show, we are rolling out a very specific integration with SoundCloud. I bet you know SoundCloud.
Yeah, I know SoundCloud.
So this integration will allow users to listen to HD and lossless originals of files stored on SoundCloud. It's absolutely impossible while you listen to SoundCloud music on the embedded browser, on the embedded music player inside browser on iOS. So this feature will be only available for users who use VOX with SoundCloud embedded in it.
That's a very nice feature, a very nice sweetener for VOX, because those files are quite a bit larger, aren't they?
Well, they are larger, but comparing to streams of YouTube video streams, it's not that serious issue for 2014, actually.
Yeah, that's a good point. I hadn't thought about it exactly that way, that we are already streaming things that large.
Yes,
they just happen to be
videos on Vimeo, so streaming HD music, it's not a big deal.
So where do we send people? Obviously the App Store, but where do they learn more about this? What the website that they can find out about VOX and everything else?
Well, you can simply go to Mac App Store and search VOX and get VOX on your computer and just play with it. Or you can go to coppertino.com/VOX and study more about the product, reviews, services that we support, etc., etc.
Peter, thanks so much for the time. It looks like it's been a good show. You've been very busy, I know that.
Yes, thank you very much.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Pleasure for hosting us.
Folks, more from Macworld iWorld 2014 in San Francisco. I'm Chuck Joyner. Thanks for watching. Camera work by John Zakowski of Azimuth Productions Video San Francisco at videosanfrancisco.com. Visit MacVoices.com for links, show notes, to subscribe, to connect with Chuck on Twitter, app.net, Google+, and Facebook. Subscribe to our weekly newsletter, the MacVoices Dispatch, to stay up to date with all the latest MacVoices news from our front page or at macvoices.com/newsletter. Advertising and sponsorships handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com.